everybody. Happy Figure It Out Friday. Put Friday in the chat. Put Friday in the chat. I don't know about you all. What's up, Sydney? Yeah, we got your girl, Sydney. She's on today. So excited to have her on here. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. It's been a week, all. It is. Put a 5 in the chat if it's been a week for you. Put a 5 in the chat if it's been a week for you. It's been one of those weeks, and we keep on grinding. We finish strong. We finish strong. Where's Coach Jada? Where's Jada? We're gonna finish this strong this week. I'm so excited. For those of you that are new to the show today, thank you for being on here this morning on our Figured Out Friday edition. My name is Coach Brock Zevan, life coach, business coach, real estate coach, and a DAD. And it is going to be a figured out moment. My son today I was talking to my lovely former wife. We had a call this morning, John Hart. We had a call this morning, and she's like, Bryce has nightmares. He has nightmares, and I guess he's been like all over the place. Anybody out, like, I guess it's night terrors or something it's called. So I don't know. So now we got this thing. So it should be an interesting night tonight. Should be an interesting night tonight, Kimberly, but we're going to see what happens, Jasmine. So good morning to y'all. Good morning to you. You all tell us where you're calling us from. Where you joining us in here today on this Figured Out Friday. We got a special guest here today. She came in from our girl, Sydney, who's in Oregon, and our West Coast people, they're showing up very well. Our West Coast people. Good morning, Kendrick. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning to you, Beth. What's happening, Beth? Victoria, good morning to you. A lot of people from California getting up early this morning. So Sydney introduced me to Hannah. Hannah, for those of you at Real, is friends with Sharon. And we were having some conversations. And I was like, I'm going to call Hannah. I'm going to have a conversation with her. And we hit it off. And she was telling me about her story. She was telling me about her family. She was telling me about some of the stuff that was going on. And how many of you're listening intentionally, Robin, and you're listening and you're leaning in and you're like, damn, wow, that's man, and your whole demeanor changes. The whole conversation of just all the big problems you thought you had in life get squished like a grape and being like, what the hell am I complaining about? Why am I bitching about traffic right now? Let's be honest with ourselves. Like, how many of you lean in to somebody else, Michelle, and you hear what they got going on in life, and you know what? This is what I do. I go immediately to gratitude. I'm like, God, thank you so much for this opportunity. These night terrors that Bryce has, like, I love I'm in love. No, let me rephrase that. I love my former wife. I'm not in love with her, but she was very caring and nurturing about the whole thing with Bryce. And I hear stories and I'm like, you know what? Night terrors, I'll take that because I got lack of sleep, night terror. I will take that any day. I rather have that than other situations that possibly could happen to my 6-year-old. It's all about perspective. And Hannah today is going to share with us some things that she's gone through, what she's been through, what she's got going on in her life, that I really want you to lean in and come away with this with gratitude, appreciation when people share stories like this of what they've been through. And so, as we love to do here on our Figured Out Friday show, guys, put some hearts in the chat, put some love in the chat. If you know how to use those emojis, those reactions down below, all put some hearts and loves in the chat for our girl Hannah from San Diego. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Brock. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to have you. Hannah and I we've talked. She's an amazing person, and her and I went back and forth on some conversations. Like I shared with you all, I was just like, I'd love to have you on our Figured Out Friday show. And so I want to thank you you also do the 5 a.m. club. Tell us a little bit about that, Hannah. Well, for those of you that want to be part of this 5 a.m. club or this is 5 a.m. West Coast. So it's actually late for us all. So no excuses not to be on there, East Coast people. Tell us a little bit about that, because you had that just like, I don't know, like 20 minutes ago, right?
Well, so funny story, Brock. Back in 2017, I was having trouble getting up in the morning, and I'm a real estate professional by nature, right? And I had a friend say to me, "Well, Hannah, have you heard of the 5 a.m. club?" And I said, "What the hell is a 5 a.m. club?" And they said, "Well, it's this call. This guy named Sharon Srivatsa runs this call every single weekday." And I went, "Oh man, 5 a.m." But I put my headphones on for the very first time. And I love the fact that Kevin Jones is here, Christina Abbott is here, Cindy is here. So this was 2018. And I put my headphones on for the very first time and listened to Sharon's morning message. And I went, wow, I found my community. And what happened was I wrote on the board, host the 5 a.m. club. I had never heard of Sharon Srivatsa. I never heard of this thing called the 5 a.m. club. And sure enough, Sharon said, "Well, I have a guest slot. Would you like to come on?" And my first call I hosted, I was so nervous. My heart is thumping. And Sharon came back and said, "Hannah, you're really good. You're really good. Would you like to host again?" I said, "Sure." And then he said, "Well, we do have the weekend slots open." And what I didn't know was that Sharon had been hosting this call 7 days a week for a very long time, because his coach said to him, if you're only doing something 5 days a week, that's only 71% chance of success. But if you expand to 7 days, and I said, I've never been up early a weekend on my life, and I've been hosting ever since. And what's really powerful is this is all rooted in our ability to get up early, accomplish something in our life, open our eyes, and just hear what our higher power, what the universe is saying, just hear from ourselves to be able to push our life and business forward.
I love it. Now I feel like I'm just kind of like a little slug over here for 5 days a week. I might have to step it up a little bit, even though it's it's a challenging enough with five. But I'm like, damn it, 71%. I'm better than 71%. How many you got fired up? I got fired up by just hearing that right there. But those are the guys. Those are the little things. The little things when you're like, I'm so close. I don't know. It could be something that simple for you doing. So for those of you that are watching us on YouTube and the recording, we will make sure that we get the 5 a.m. club link. We will post it on my Facebook channel, the Brock Zevan's Mindset Motivational Facebook group, as well as we will try to find it before we end the show here today to get it on the link, but come back to listen into that and on the YouTube page. So you're in San Diego, right?
I
Tell
am,
us,
yes.
tell us a little bit about your journey and what you got going on. Kind of give us like the 10,000-foot overview.
Well, and so this is really fascinating because there's two parts of the story. The first is real estate professional. Now, for those of you who have been in the industry for many years, you realize that everything is changing, everything's shifting. And I'm so thankful that I've been able to step from real estate professional to a really unique space, which is development, which this is real estate development. Real estate development. And what's interesting is I am now connecting funding to some of the largest projects in the world, which gets really exciting really fast because housing is one of our biggest needs. For example, we're working on things under the radar that I can't even talk about because they're so classified. But one of these projects is the largest project in state of Hawaii's history. Then we're headed over to Nevada, Colorado, Texas, bringing new technologies on the building side into Los Angeles, into Lahaina for those rebuilds. And I share this because real estate is a journey. Real estate is a journey, but at some point we have to look at what's going on around us in the marketplace and realize something has to shift from being just a real estate agent, quote unquote, because this model is shifting so quickly. So whether that's through something like you're doing, Brock, right? Personal branding, whether that's through building out a coaching program or building out some mentorship programs, or whether that's saying, I just simply need to become an investor or I need to step into a new realm within the real estate space. The real estate Real estate is just a vehicle for what it is you want to accomplish in your life.
Amen to that. I was speaking with a lady up in Virginia last night. Somebody I met from the show. And that's, guys, I'm telling you, there's a lot of new people on here today. There's a lot of new people that come on this show weekly. I'm telling you, you need to reach out to these people that you see, look up their names, put phone numbers, put emails. If somebody wants to talk to me, here's my phone number. Guys, the networking, it's all about having conversations. This girl up in Washington, D.C., she's like, hey, Brock, I'm thinking that you would be might a good investor for this program, for this thing that they're doing in some sort of, now I can't even remember it. I don't have my notes on here. But like when you have real estate, 100% is the vehicle, and the vehicle can take you in so many different places. It can take you down this road, take you down this avenue. You can go on the highway. You can go down this beautiful path and see this pasture. You can see the water. You can see so many different things. And I was just like, it was like cross units or something. She said, she's like, I think you'd be really good. And I was like, well, what is that? What does it entail? And she was telling me, I'm like, I'm in. That sounds great. I never even heard about this. And so what you're saying, Hannah, here, yeah, the development side, there's so many different things, but if we're just like this all, you can't see it. Can't see what you got going on. Now, Hannah, I know successful people didn't throw the covers off and say, I'm here, world. I'm ready to take on development. I'm ready to rock and go. I arrived. Let's go. There's been a journey that you've been through. There's been some ups and downs in your life. And the Figure It Out Friday theme are these moments where you had to figure it out, where there is no, let me just go to the owner's manual of life and go to page 12. Now we have the Bible to help us out with some of those things that is spiritually, but there's just real world stuff that it just knocks us completely sideways. And share with us some of these moments that you have. What's one of those defining moments in your life where you had to really figure it out to help somebody here today who might be going through a figure it out moment themselves and they need some inspiration?
Well, I'm going to speak to the women first of all. So a woman's role is really in this flux. And now really we're seeing a new thing emerge because it's going back to our roots as women, which is being recognized for being a mom and a wife and taking care of our household, and then also the ability to expand then out into the business world. So I'll just share that. And of course, when you decide to go into real estate, you're bushy-tailed and wide-eyed, and you say, "Oh, I want this freedom, and I want to make money, and I want to just sell a person a house." Okay, so there's that. And then opportunities come your way. And for example, my friend Kevin Jones, who's on this call, knows this very well, that opportunities begin to come your way, and this becomes God's plan versus your plan.
Mm.
But then in the middle of this, which is really where you and I connected on this idea of Figured Out Friday, is you're going along and you're saying, this is fantastic. I've bought my second house. My husband and I are doing well. We're cruising along. The world is beautiful. And in November 2019, we took a camping trip, my husband and I and the kids. So we're out in the desert camping. We're having this beautiful weekend. He got the worst headache he'd ever had. That first scan showed a massive brain tumor. And not only was it a brain tumor, he was told, as I'm holding his hand in the hospital room, "Sir, you need to go home and make your plans because you have just a few months to live." And what happens is, well, so there's two components to this, Brock, and this is what I want to share with the audience today. There's two components. One is this is serious. This is serious because I'm going to lose someone that I love. Or so for some of us, it might be if you're at that pain of being faced with a divorce or being faced with a loss of a child or financial loss. All these things are going into this bucket of extreme pain. But the second part of this is the disruption that happens because my husband lost his income overnight. He's 21 years retired military. So he retired from the military. He started his next career and he was told, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to work ever again. So in that moment, the lovely dual income, right, is shut off. I am a high producing real estate agent for a local team here in San Diego and realizing I can't go back out in the field. And you're at this crushing moment where the world is crushing down on top of you.
So as I'm absorbing this all, I mean, I don't know about you, but like I'm getting goosebumps because we all think, or at least I do, I'm immune to anything. I'm a tough guy. I work out all the time. I take my vitamins. And I hear stories similar to this that your whole life is what you know of it now completely changes. And we are powerless to it. There's nothing that you're going to be able to do that is going to change any type of situation, except what we talked about yesterday, all working on yourself's an inside job. It's an inside job. So Hannah, how are you working on yourself on an inside job as well as taking care of your family, your husband? Like what's going on in your head to be like, oh shit, like this is real?
Well, so this is November 2019. And keep in mind, within 30 days, my husband was actually bedridden. He
Wow.
could barely think, he could barely talk, he could barely process, he could barely eat. As a matter of fact, we were very close to calling in hospice at that very moment. And so
This is within
for
30 days.
within 30 days. Now they did one initial surgery, but they said, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, ma'am. Because this where this tumor is located. And by the way, think of this as a grapefruit in your brain that is pressing down on everything that makes you live, right? And so in that moment, well, I'll tell a side note, which is I actually ended up in the hospital myself from what I thought was a heart attack. So they took me out in an ambulance. This is December 2019, called the neighbors in, took me out, oh, chest pain, the whole thing. And so I'm just terrified, right? Well, come to find out that was actually a panic attack in that moment.
Wow.
That's how dark these moments can be. But what happened is I felt like my back was up against the wall. So I'm just crying and emotional and all these things. And all of a sudden, I'm a believer in God, God in heaven. It was as if God said, Hannah, Hannah, bring your nervous system down. What have you learned on the 5 a.m. club? What have you learned in your journey? What have you learned so far? What have you learned from the what you've read in the Bible? I want you to just pause. And there was a clear message in the pit of my stomach. And maybe some of you will resonate with this. It's really that gut feeling where I heard these words, Hannah, your husband's time has not yet come. Your
Mm.
husband's time has not yet come. And in that moment, I said, okay, what can I control? And we talk about this on the 5 a.m. club, which is you can control your attitudes, your actions, and your associations. Your
Mhm.
attitudes, your actions, and your associations. And to the audience, if there's nothing else you take away, that is the crux of this:
The
attitudes,
three
actions,
A's.
associations. And in that very moment, I began to just take what I've learned and say, well, wait a minute, if it's not his time, what can I do? What can I do? And here's exactly, I'll just kind of fast track this for the audience, which is I said, okay, can we get him in for surgery? Is there anything we can do to save my husband's life? And what did I do? I hopped on the 5 a.m. club call. This is why I have such a deep respect and love for Sharon, what he's created. He's just created a platform for all of us to expand our thinking because he says, Hannah, do you still want to host? I said, please let me host. So I shared my story. This is 2019. And I said, if anybody on this call knows anything about getting someone in for surgery, let's, reach out to me. And sure enough, our friend Penny Patillo, Laguna Beach, said, Hannah, my friend just got in for surgery here at Hoag Medical Center. Within 3 weeks, we had an in for surgery, going deep inside the brain, using augmented and virtual reality. I feel like we might have to have another call to unpack this. And they compressed the tumor on top of itself, so collapsed the tumor on top of itself, sucked all that nasty cancer out with a vacuum type thing. Took him 8 weeks to be able to walk again, 8 weeks to be able to talk again, 8 weeks to be able to think again. And now, 5 years later, so he went through course of treatment, which is chemo, radiation. 5 years later, he's still here.
Wow.
And what I'm just going to offer the audience, and I'll also, share a link to a really important, powerful framework. But this is basically seeing the fear, right? I recognize the lion at the door and said, can I now focus on what matters? Can I now step out of myself, push something forward to help in this moment? And for anyone who's gone through, like I mentioned, a hardship, a divorce, a loss, my biggest gift to you is allow the fear that you're feeling to drive you towards what's next.
Mm. That is, wow. First of all, God bless that you're on the other side of that tumor. I mean, I know that there's still situations that you're still dealing with, but God bless that in itself. And, you know, fear, Les Brown, motivational speaker, speaks about fear. You know, it's either, face everything and run, or face everything and just embrace it. I was listening to, not getting into politics, but I was listening to Elon Musk say something he was talking to millennials, and somebody said, Elon, what was your success? How did you do it? And he literally leaned in the camera and said this: face your fears, face them, just go at it. And we were all expecting, and you can see the other people, the co-hosts and the co-anchors are like, that's it? That's all it is? But you in your moment, I mean, when it's dark, it's gloomy, there's nobody else around. I mean, you can't have other you can, but many times I gotta believe you felt alone when you're kind of going through this. Obviously, prayer and God, and you have that, which is it's surrendering to Him. Like, I can't control this. I have here, when you said control, I have the serenity prayer right next to me, and many times when I'll get a call or something comes in that, in legality world, or something I can't control, it's just like, all right, God, all right, that's a little test, just a little test, make sure that I know what I can control, what I can't control, and focus on what I can control, and know the difference, the wisdom to know the difference in that. And I do want to, and I want to make sure that, I think we have your link, and I'm gonna ask the ladies, my team here, to make sure if we got that link to put it in there for that framework. How many would like that link? I don't know about you, but I'd like to have that framework link. Put a yes in the chat if you want that. Put a yes in the chat if you all want her framework link, because we're gonna make sure that we get it to you all. We got our Instagram, we got our stuff. A lot of people want it, and a lot of people want it. Oh, there it is. We got it right there. So Jay, make sure we continue to post that, so that way it doesn't fly up too high. So as we got about 4 minutes here, tell us what you're trying to figure out today. You've gone through that. You're 5 years later, you're growing, you're working these huge developments, helping people, those that lost everything. Tell us a little bit of, what are you figuring out today?
Well, so you step into a new season. That new season now is, my husband is considered an anomaly, by the way. The doctor
Wow.
said, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. Because, it, Brock, a very small percentage make it to year 5 and a smaller percentage make it to year 10. Brain cancer is one of the most aggressive cancers within the entire
Yeah.
scope. So now it gets really, really exciting, right? So you mentioned something interesting, which is we all don't feel like pulling the covers back and getting out of bed. But there again, you control your attitudes, your actions, your associations, and that has given me tremendous fuel to be up and out of bed in the morning and to say, hello, world, and to also shift. So it's a shift in our mind to say, instead of saying what can go wrong, I ask myself, what can go right today?
So true. Great
And
mindset.
I can see Kevin on the screen nodding his head. So instead of what's going to go wrong. So for example, we think of tech. Oh, am I going to make it to the computer in time? Do I look okay? And I said, the heck with that. And this is what I would just leave the audience with. You really have to shift in your mind and say, I control my attitudes, my actions, my associations, and I'm going to make today a beautiful day.
Mm,
It doesn't matter what comes my way. It you begin to build a resilience to allow all the things to roll off your back. Pretend you're a duck, and you're just letting those things roll off your back. You're learning, you're growing. Sometimes you're deep in that mud and muck, but you just say, I'm going to keep going. And I'll leave everyone with a quote from one of my favorite books.
I love quotes. I love quotes. What do you got?
Okay. So I'm an avid reader, by the way. So that's the other thing, is you really want to have this intention every single day. So I'm an avid reader. But Sun Tzu, The Art of War, great quote. And this is actually an excellent read. You can get the abridged version or listen on podcast. Um, and here's what Sun Tzu in The Art of War says: warriors seek to win first and then go to war. Warriors
Mm,
seek to win first and then go to war. So every day when I'm saying I'm grateful, hey, I'm grateful I'm going to be on this podcast. Okay, I'm feeling a little bit of fear inside of my heart. Can I just release that fear? I'm recognizing that fear, and then I'm going to focus on what matters, delivering my best presentation to the group today, because I know that this matters. So warriors seek to win first and then go to war.
I love it. I
That
love it.
that's the that's the crucial part of this.
It's that mindset that you're going to crush the day. You're going to win the day. You are going to dominate the day, no matter what comes your way. Eric Thomas talks about there's no bad days. There's just bad moments within the day. That's all there is. In the attitude that we approach that is up to us. We have a choice. We can either take the action, just be like, woe is me, go to victimhood, or become victor and get ourselves, and if we struggle, we get ourselves. That's why I put my phone number on there. That's why Latrice and some of you put your phone numbers on there, because it is an environment that we create, the associations that you have on here. How many of you will love for me to get Hanna to come back and teach some of her framework to help us? Put a 7 in the chat. Put a yes in the chat if you want me to try to see if I can get Hanna to come back to us here, and we can do a little framework session on here. We got a lot of people on here. We got a lot of people, Hanna, that want you to come back. So I'm gonna have to have a little talk with you to see what we can do.
Oh,
Hanna,
and I brought friends. I brought friends over from the 5 a.m. club, and I'm so thankful. Oh, I'm so thankful for just everything that we built in this amazing real estate community. Regardless of where you sit, the real estate community is powerful when we come together.
amen to that. It's so true. We're strength in numbers. Strength in numbers. So guys, put some hearts in the chat. Go to your emojis down below. Go to your emojis down below for those of you that watched the recording or missed it, maybe had to leave early or come late or whatever, or whatever it might be. We're going to have the recording on the Brock Zevans. You can go to my YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you never miss a Figured Out Friday. Hanna, God bless you. Thank you so much for sharing this morning. And I'd say get up early, but it's a normal day for you when you get up this early over there. So thank you so much for coming here and bringing all your friends with you today.
You're welcome. And I posted in the chat. So follow me on Instagram at Hanna Bederson, and then just pop me a message, podcast. I'll go ahead and send you over. So one of these is the framework that I've built, right? 5 steps to building resilience in your life and business. So I'll send you that. A couple other freebies. I'm just so thankful, Brock. I was thankful for having me, the great discussion. You have this beautiful community, and I look forward to seeing everyone again.
Sydney. Thank you, Sydney, for connecting us on here. And so, guys, I appreciate everybody for taking time to listen in. Join Hanna, go see her podcast, get her stuff. We're going to bring her back for the framework. I appreciate everybody taking time to be part of us this morning. Guys, my name is Coach Brock Zevan. We do this Monday through Friday, 8:15 to 8:45 Eastern Time, which means I'll be back Monday morning, Mondays with Maxwell as your host. Come back and see us. Love to have you. God bless you all. Have a safe and healthy weekend, and we'll catch up with you on Monday. See ya.